And we're live. And we're live for episode 12 of Slap Happy. Slap Happy. We're here. We're doing it. We're coming to you direct from the Riff. The Riff, baby. Penrith. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, people. We're coming live and direct from the west side, the southwest side, or the south side, west side. Just west, right? Penrith is just west. Maybe a little bit south. Depends where you're coming from. North side if you're coming from Melbourne. East side if you're coming from Perth, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm still in this little pickle where I'm kind of at my partner's parents' place in the Riff. We're still bunkered down here, you know, trying to do our little thing. And I am we're just kind of waiting to get back home, really. Just doing our best to kind of ride it out here. Hopefully we'll be home by the end of the month. That'll be nice. I kind of want to get home on it. I've been trading off of the floor in my they have like a spare lounge room area. I kind of have my stuff set up on a coffee table, and I'm basically sitting on the floor and trading off this kind of smaller setup than I would like. But it's doing the trick, I guess. Like, I'm up a little this month. Had a decent end to December from that setup. So yeah, no real complaints, but I would like to be sitting on a chair and trading. That would be good. Also, the internet here is not great. I want to get back to my not amazing, but slightly better internet. So yeah, that's what it is. So last week I did like a 2020 year in review kind of vibe. Today I would like to do a bit of a forward-looking podcast where I talk about what I'm looking forward to in 2021 and what I want to do better and what I'm looking to improve on, and how I'm going to do it, some of my goals, methods that I'm using to kind of achieve them, and yeah, kind of my prediction for this year, for myself only, because I am Nostradamus, pun, and yeah, I don't see much. I'm not a fucking finance channel or anything like that, so I'm not going to try to talk about any of those sorts of things. The only thing I will say, I will make one prediction for 2021, right, outside of myself. Parramatta Eels 2021 premiers. You're looking at the blue and gold taking it down this year is all I'm saying in the NRL. Apart from that, yeah, no other predictions. Apart from, I don't anticipate 2021 being any less wild if the recent events of the fucking Capitol building being stormed is anything to go by. The fact that the COVID cases are still off the charts in the US. I think they had a day where 4,000 died very recently. We hadn't even had 4,000 cases, let alone they got 4,000 deaths, 300,000 cases in a day kind of thing. So it's absolutely wild. The UK strain, da-da-da-da-da, R0 value, da-da-da-da-da. You know, there's a lot going on still that we are going to have to contest with this year. So, you know, that wildness is definitely still present, going to be present. So contending with all of that amongst, you know, trying to be a good person, trying to be a wholehearted person, trying to be, you know, just a good influence on the world is, yeah, that's where we're at. But I guess that's always a challenge, right? The world's always going to try to push us and pull us and, you know, nudge us in different directions, but it's up to us to kind of stand strong and be the best version of ourselves no matter what. So yeah, that's what 2021 is throwing up. And, you know, I'm happy to get up there and fucking reject it and just say, not in my house. Not my house, 2021. Y'all motherfuckers didn't get me last year. You certainly is not going to get me this year. Actually, no, y'all motherfuckers did get me last year a little bit. But this year, Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, 2021, my predictions, my goals, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I got a little notepad here because trying to go back to a bit more handwriting. So that's one of the things I'm going to touch on. Trying to go back to a bit more handwriting in 2021. Trying to get this fucking mic right in 2021. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to get the right position in this mic right. Anyway, yeah. 2020, 2021, trying to get this mic right. No, I'm saying. You think being an MC, I'd be able to figure this shit out? You know, spent the last, 8 or so years holding, handling, maneuvering, manipulating microphones. You think I'd be able to get this shit all good? But I'm battling. But I'll live. I'll live. I'll kind of keep it. The show must go on, as they say. So I'm going to get into it after a solid, 6 minutes of rambling. I'm going to get into it. Yeah. So one thing I am trying to do this year is go for more metrics. So I talked in the last episode about how I record my some certain metrics around my trading and also in regard to my working on my craft, because I had that goal of 600 hours working on my craft, and this year I'm kind of upping the ante on that goal. Similar idea, but just kind of a little bit loftier. So I kind of thought I liked tracking metrics. So I've always loved tracking metrics. I remember when I was like maybe 14 or 15 years old, I was staying at my grandparents' place, and no, I wasn't. I found, or maybe I rented it. It was a Ricky Ponting diary of like the 04, 05 Ashes or something like that. And it had, so when they would go on the tours, they do all these like tour matches. They play Kent for a 3-day match. I mean, that's what all touring countries do, right? They go play the tour matches against the local state teams and the Prime Minister's 11 and shit like that. So, this tour diary had the scorecards from all these tour matches and, versus England A. And I've got to stop fucking going to the left because I keep hitting the goddamn microphone boom arm. So yeah, against like England A and like, shit like that. Anyway, so this diary had all the scorecards, and I would do similar shit like this like fairly frequently because I just loved it. Take a pad and a pen, and I'd go through all the scorecards, and I'd write down all the players. Like I think Gilly, Haydos, Langer maybe, or maybe this is just after. So might have been Punter, Michael Clark. No, I think it was still Haydos. Anyway, I'd write all their names down, and then I would go through and collect all the scores. Now, obviously, there were some players who weren't in the the test 11. You might have had like a Brad Hodge or Mike Hussey trying to crack the 11 on the touring party. And I'd go down and I'd go through all the scorecards and I'd write down all the scores from those players and I'd tally them up. I'd do their total runs, their averages. I'd just write out all their stats. I don't know what I got out of it, but I just enjoyed it. Yeah, so I'd always, and especially like when I was playing cricket, it was something that I always really was interested in, and when I played golf, actually, I used to keep like a little, I'm only remembering this now. When I played golf, I had like a little notepad and I'd play, I'd jot down like my, did I hit the fairway? Did I hit the green in 2? Or green in reg? How many 2 putts? How many 1 putts? How many 3 putts? How many birdies? I'd keep all those stats in a little notepad as I was going around the course. I totally forgot I used to do that. And then with cricket, same deal. I still remember vividly like when I was maybe 12 or 13 in church after I'd scored my highest like under 13 score. I think I got a 27. I scored 6 fours, which is 6, 12, 18, 24. Yep. So that checks out. And then I got 3 singles. So I got 27. I remember I played a bunch of hook shots because Punter was my favorite player. So yeah, I got 27. And I remember I was in church and I was so obsessed with like 6 6 times 4 equals 24 plus 3 singles equals 27. I would like I scratched into the back of the pew in front of me. 6 times 4 plus 3 equals 27, which is my score. So yeah, I've always kind of been super interested in stats. Fuck off Siri. I've always been super interested in stats. I've always really enjoyed, writing them down and keeping track of them as a way to keep myself accountable and keep me on track for kind of like my whatever goal I have at the time. Now, one thing I'm going to note, as you probably have realized, I've been talking to my watch. I bought a Apple Watch recently, and it was for the purpose of being more in control, being more on top of all these stats. I kind of wanted to be more accountable to the metrics. I kind of just wanted to have something that was always with me that I could track, especially fitness. But yeah, some of the other things that I'm going to be doing this year, which I'll talk about more specifically soon. I only got the watch a week ago. I'm still getting used to it, but so far I am liking what it has to offer. Whether or not it achieves everything that I need it to is yet to be determined, but so far so good. So anyway, I'm gonna jump in now to these some of the things that I'm working to keep better metrics in 2021. Or actually, maybe I'll talk about these goals that I got for 2021. All right, let's see. We're still going. All right. So some of the goals that I got for 2021, I've got a lot of littler goals underneath these big ones, but I'll just talk about these bigger ones as the overarching idea for certain parts of my life for this year. And then I won't talk about the more specific ones that I got, but I'll just talk about kind of what I want to, or how I'm going to try to get to them. So the first one is I want to get 900 hours of work in my craft, and specifically music. And the reason I say that is last year I had a goal of 600 hours. I had never tracked anything for 1 year before. I had never attempted, let alone achieved, a 1 year goal. I had never done that before last year. I set the 600 hour goal for my music, or I said my craft. But one thing that I did to kind of trick myself was I included working on the podcast, working on some other things that, aren't necessarily related to, the end goal, which is to be a professional recording artist and, making not a living, but having like a source of income and a source of, generating joy in my life being, my music, right? I would, yeah. So some of the hours would be podcast related. Some of the hours would be, working on certain videos to kind of do with the music, but more to do with the marketing side of things. So this year I've really narrowed it down to make it 900 very specific music creation hours. That is what this goal is. 900 hours purely creating music is one of the goals this year. And that's a minimum. So I think I got to 650-ish hours last year. And yeah, probably give or take maybe 50 of those were like podcast related and other stuff that wasn't necessarily creating music. There was still a solid 600 hours of creating music, I would say, at a bare minimum. And I want to do 900 this year. So yeah, it's a bit of a step up, but I kind of came up with that number a certain way. And at the end of the day, if I want to do this professionally and I want to consider myself a professional, 900 hours creating music should not be an issue. So yeah, that's the first one. The second one is to monetize my YouTube. Now, I felt a bit strange saying this one because a lot of you guys are probably watching this on YouTube. And I felt strange saying this one, but I wanted to say it because at the end of the day, it's the truth. I'm not going to be like making money off anyone watching this necessarily. But I would like to, and I never ever thought about this before. I never thought about this until about a month ago, until like the streams kind of started coming in. I started getting some subscribers. And I kind of started thinking, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. Like people actually are liking this, and YouTube seems to be the prominent platform. And you know, I don't know, kind of a light bulb went off. Like maybe I can do this, and I kind of looked into it. And you need to like meet a few criteria, and then you can apply to be a YouTube partner, and then they'll monetize your channel, and you can earn like some decent passive income there. So I had never thought of it until very recently, and now I've thought of it. I kind of am interested in doing it, to be honest. I would love to be able to create content, and have like a little passive income stream sitting there. Like at the end of the day, I've forked out all this money on this gear. If I could make some of that back, that'd be dope. That's by no means the goal of this podcast, but if it could be a little side tangent and a little mini goal, so why not? The goal originally was to just start and just do it and put something out there every single week, and I'm on track to be doing that 3 months in. So yeah, I kind of want to look to what's next, and that is what is next for me. So with that being said, like a lot of you watching this are not subscribed to my channel yet. If you like my videos, if you get anything out of my videos or my podcast, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and give it a share, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff, because I can't really do it unless people are supporting it. So if people could support it, that's great. Otherwise, I'm just going to be here continuing to track on with punching these out in my own time. So yeah, that was the second one. The third one is a pretty big one for me. I decided 2021 would be the year that I gave up substances, alcohol, and drugs. Basically, I wouldn't look. If I was being honest, I would probably say there hasn't been one weekend since I turned 18 where I haven't been paralytic or a version of it. Especially last year, but all throughout my 20s, alcohol and drug use has been very prevalent. And I think I just want to give it a year off. I think I want to give myself time to experience what life is like when you're not getting a beer instantly at any chance that you can. My mom would always say, like, my mom kind of knew about some of my drug use and some of my alcohol use, unfortunately for her, but because obviously that just stresses a mother out, right? But yeah, she would always say, why do you need that bloody stuff? Like, you can have fun just who you are. What are you trying to, like, I think she would say, like, what are you running from, or what are you trying to hide, or something like that. And I would always, like, when you're kind of younger, you blow that off like, what are you talking about, woman? You got no idea. You don't know me. You don't understand me. You don't get me. Anyway, yeah, so you brush that off as just like old people saying old people shit, right? But I guess, now that I'm a bit older and looking back and reflecting, I think it's fair to say that, yeah, some of my alcohol use, some of my drug use was there and used to hide some stuff about myself that I didn't like and run from myself a little bit. So 2021 is the year that I kick it. I'm kicking it. I'm kicking alcohol in conjunction with my brother Dave and my father. My father's had a bit of an issue with alcohol in the last couple of years. Dave doesn't seem to have had an issue with alcohol, but he's just decided that he wants to get on board with me. So we all kind of made a pact. We started a little Facebook group, and we're trying to share stuff every day, keep each other accountable, and try to support each other as we go 1 year substance free. Now, yeah, so far so good. We're 11 days in or 12 days in. I haven't had a problem. And I don't think I will. Like, I feel really good about this. Like, I feel like this is kind of a logical next step for me. I'm trying to level up all parts of my life, my music, my finance, my health. And I just feel like this is a logical next step. Cut out this thing that I feel like has just, held me back. As I said, to go where I've never gone, I must do what I've never done. And cutting out substances is something that I've never done. I've been too scared to. I felt like I've needed them. I need to have a good time. I need to get a bit lit. So yeah, trying to give them the kick, if you know what I'm saying, and see how things pan out. I'm excited for it, actually, really excited for it. I'm looking forward to getting this done and proving to myself that I don't need them, just so I can reintroduce them next year. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that's a joke. But not really. But maybe. Who knows? Yeah, so that's a big one for me. It's actually, so it's funny. My brother, Luke, when we were sitting around pre-drinking before we went out somewhere recently, like a month or two ago, and he was like, we're all talking about, I don't know, drugs or drinking or something along those lines, and not wanting to do them as much, or kind of wanting to do like drugs a bit less. And Luke, in his very kind of loud and obnoxious kind of way that he does things, piped up and he's like, "Oh, let's be honest, we're all pretty fucking boring. We need drugs for we take drugs for a reason. It makes us way more fun." And he said it way more funny than I did, but I just I cracked up because it's so true. Like, it's not so true. Like, obviously they can enhance your experience from time to time, but at the end of the day, like, I want to be that like empathetic, open, fun, outgoing, courageous person without them. I don't want to need them to have access to that part of me, to that person, Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, that's a third one. The fourth one is train 75% of days. So 3/4 of the year, I want to get and move. I want to move my body at least a little bit. I want to exercise. I want to go for a jog, do some MMA, do some boxing, hit the gym, do some weights, whatever. I want to do something. So far this year, I think we're 12 days in, and I think I've missed like 3 or 4 days. So what's that? That's that's a third. So it depends. If it's 3, I'm spot on. If it's 4, then it's a third. Either way, I'm pretty close to that at the moment, and I think I should be able to do that. I feel really confident about where I'm at with my health and my training at the moment. Like, I'm enjoying just going and smashing out a quick 30-minute session. I was going a little bit hard last year in certain parts, but I think this year I just really want to tone it down, make sure I get in there, do a really good 30-minute session, and then get home and work on my other stuff. So 75% of days, tracking that actually in an app. Same with the substance free days, and my fitness is being tracked in an app called Momentum, which is just a habit tracking. It's really simple. Don't tell me this is. Let me see if this camera is still working. Yeah, it's still working. How good is that? Anyway, yeah, you can see. Oh, shut up, Siri. You can see on your watch the camera like facing you. It's bloody unreal. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. Yeah, so I'm tracking my substance-free days, my gambling-free days, which I'm also trying to kick this year. And I call it move your body, but like my training or fitness days on a app called Momentum, which I'll kind of put here or in a link below. Basically, Momentum, it's just like a habit tracking. You just press a little button, it goes green. It just says you've done that thing that day. It's really simple. I try to keep all my habit tracking and goal tracking statistics-based things as simple as possible, because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So yeah, Momentum is what I'm using for that, and I'll kind of drop it in here. So train 75% of days, and then the other one, the fifth major one. So if I get all these done this year, I'll have had a fucking amazing year. So I know it's not going to be super easy, but if I can do all of these things this year, I will feel like I've done a fair bit. It will easily be the most successful I've been in a really long time. So yeah, the fifth one is I want to net 250K in my trading account, which will be a solid 80K more than I did last year. So it's a big jump. But to be fair, I think I'm going that way. I don't think, I know I'm going that way. I know that, consistently doing 20K months is kind of what I'm on track for. I just need to obviously build that consistency. There was like, I think there was 1 month where I did 200, 1 month where I did minus 500, and then 1 month where I was basically flat, maybe up a little as well. So I think there's at least 3 months there that I basically was flat. So yeah, I think I definitely think there's a heap of room for improvement. And get back to somewhere around that June, July, August best that I was at last year. But just trying to kind of like be really vigilant with myself. Samika, daily reviews. Actually, I'll go more into that side of things now. But basically, they're my goals for this year. They're the big goals. There's some other smaller ones. I want to read 12 books this year, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like it's a pretty substantial amount for me. I'm a really slow reader. I want to release a lot more music this year, and I've got some specific goals around that. So in terms of the tracking of all of this and trying to and making sure that I'm keeping myself accountable, as I said earlier, the metrics is something that I'm really going to be into this year. Way more metrics. And I'll have like photos of everything that I'm about to talk about appear on a screen as I talk about them. But basically, these are a bunch of the ways that I'm planning to keep myself on course this year. Right. So the first one is an app called Spendy, and basically I just punch in. This is just a budget kind of tracking app kind of thing, and its purpose is just to allow me to punch my spending in. So I want to do that for the first maybe 2 months of the year. Then I'll be able to figure out exactly where I'm spending my money. And I'll be able to potentially, subdivide my income kind of more efficiently to make sure that I'm, kind of fitting within these certain guidelines of kind of where I want to be spending my money and how frequently. So, I was a bit lax at times throughout last year. I really, really want to tighten it up this year. So I'm using Spendy just to track what I'm spending. And then from there, I'll probably start to figure out exactly how I want to make like a more efficient kind of way of spending my money. Going forward. So yeah, Spendy is the first one. Momentum, as I said earlier, Momentum is tracking my gambling-free days, my substance-free days, and my move your body / training days. And that's a really great, simple app. It just kind of, you hit the button, it goes green, and you've ticked it off that day. And then if you go into the actual department or the actual title of that thing, it opens up the calendar where you can see how many days in a row. The gray ones are obviously days that you've missed. And you just kind of get a better sense of how well you're tracking overall, It's just a really simple one to use. It's free. Momentum. I've got this other one called Minimalist. It's just a list, like to-do list kind of vibe. Really, really minimal, really simple, easy to use, and it just looks good. It's not, I don't use it heaps. I still like writing physical to-dos from time to time. But Minimalist has a bunch of like the bigger things that you might kind of, like if there's something like bigger, like, renew license or something like that, that'll go on Minimalist. And then I know that those things need to be sorted sooner rather than later. Pick up a script or pick up, film or something like that. We'll go on there. So Minimalist. Another one is time tracking that I've talked about, more specifically writing down, the hours and what I worked on that day. so I can measure every month how many hours I've put into my craft. Then I can recalculate for the rest of the year. Okay, so I did 50 hours in January. That means I've got 850 to do throughout the next 11 months. And then I can recalculate how many hours I've got to do that month, how many hours I've got to do per day kind of thing. And it kind of allows me to, figure out how long I've got to be in the stew, working on music every single day to stay on top of this. And then I can kind of reconfigure my day to make sure that I'm prioritizing that time. Yeah. So that's, I kind of did that last year. And it's just about making sure I'm staying really tight with it this year. And the way that I plan to do that actually is I've started using my watch to time. So I leave my phone out of the room. I come into the stew. I hit the timer and then I start writing. And then when I finish writing, I hit the timer. Boom, that's my time that I've worked on music that day. Jot that down. What I worked on. Did I do writing? Was I working on mixing? Was I working on a specific song? Whatever. So that's kind of how I'm tracking that side of things. I was watching this podcast with Matty Shrama, who used to play rugby league professionally for the Gold Coast Titans. I think he played hooker for the Titans maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, he was on a podcast with Isaac John, the ICE project, and they were chatting about self-help type stuff, improving mindset and things like that. And one of the things that Matt said, which like I kind of knew this, but just to hear him say it and the way that he said it really, really struck a chord with me. And he talked about winning the day. He talked about the morning, setting yourself up for the day. And if you win the day, the more days you win, the more months you win, the more months you win, the more years you win, the more years you win, the better your life probably is going to be, right? So just winning one day at a time. And I really love that. I took that very literally. Like, I want to win today, and then I want to win tomorrow. But I don't worry about tomorrow today. I win today. I wake up tomorrow. I win today. I wake up tomorrow. Win today. So I started thinking about winning and the opposite of that, which is probably losing every day. And what does a win look like? What does a loss look like? What did I do today that would indicate that I've won today? Did I trade well? Did I exercise? Was I a good human? Did I work on music? Was I financially savvy? What did I do that was good, that was positive, that allowed me to win today, right? And then conversely, was I a dickhead? Did I drink alcohol? Did I gamble? Did I eat unhealthily? That's a loss, okay? So I've started tracking specifically win or loss every single day. And I've started doing that in the front of my diary. You know how you got the little squares where it's like, a little square for each day. Usually just mark the days off, where I've turned that into like a little win-loss book, blocks. And yeah, hopefully I can see at the end of the year how many days I've won versus lost, and yeah, kind of keep track on that metric, which I'm looking forward to. Then there's personal journaling / daily notes in my diary. Like every day I'll write specifically what I did that day, how I felt. Just certain things that happen. Obviously, the Apple Watch I talked about, tracking my workouts, tracking the kilojoules and minutes exercise and stuff like that. So far, this has been really cool. I've enjoyed the shit out of it. It's only been like 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. But so far, this is really hitting the mark, and I'm really, really enjoying it. The fact that it's just kind of like I can see myself recording is still blowing my mind. And there is Siri popping up again. That's kind of annoying. That'll get annoying. Anyway, so Apple Watch, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I thought I'd give it a crack because, as I said, I never thought that I would be an Apple Watch guy, but with my mind and my goals and my thoughts shifting towards being a person who's kind of accountable to the metrics, I felt like this was an add-on that I probably should look to do. And I pulled the trigger. And yeah, so far so good. Then we've got the trading journal plus Samika. So I do my daily trading review. What worked, what didn't work. And then obviously I'm using Samika to track the stats. And that'll continue all throughout this year. I would like to probably get a little bit more detailed with my trading journal, especially around the psychology and the mental aspect of it. Like, what was I feeling? What was I thinking? Why didn't I go for the home run in that trade? Why did I hang on for too long in that trade? That kind of stuff. I really want to tap into where I can level up my mental edge this year. And also, one thing I'm going to start doing, this is a little bit of a sneak peek, is I'm going to start doing weekly roundups, live YouTube weekly roundups for my trading. So anyone who's watching this and you've just heard me say that, I want you to drop a comment below telling me what you think of that idea, because I've not told anyone about that. I'm probably going to do it with a guest, someone that you guys know. We're going to do weekly catch-ups and talk about trades we took, what happened in the market, and like how we felt about it. So if you like that idea, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think, because I want to get some feedback on that. So that'd be cool. And then I'm going to continue doing my gratitude journal. So been doing that for a little while now. I did it all throughout last year, and I bloody love it. I absolutely love the shit out of the gratitude journal. So I'm going to continue doing that and just really be, just fill my heart with joy and gratitude every morning before I get into my day and really, start taking on the world. So I guess that is pretty much it. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to 2021. How I'm kind of going to go about it, some of the tools I'm going to use, some of the, ideas that I've got going forward. I know that like the 3 pillars of my life that are super important to me, that I know that if I nail these, like I'm going to be feeling good in my heart and in my soul, getting my finance / trading on track, my work life, my trading, okay? And the ripple effect of trading well is, having more money in the bank, which is obviously going to just give me a bit more freedom, right? And then there's my music, which is, it's needing a little bit more TLC this year, and I absolutely intend to give it that. And I'm really looking forward to giving it that. I've already been writing a lot more in this last week than I have in the last kind of month. The last couple of days, actually, I've just started writing again and recording some demos, and I'm really enjoying doing that. So yeah, I want to do a lot more of that this year. Working with my brother Ruku and my friends like Blitz and Kern, working on music with those guys and putting music out into the world is something that I'm really looking forward to. There's so much good music that we have sitting there that we want to get out into the world. And then the third pillar being my health. I've really fallen back in love with exercising and looking after my body and eating a little bit better, cutting out the booze, obviously, drinking a lot more water. Just really tuning back in with my body and sleeping better, and just really trying to fine tune it and be in the best shape that I can be. And I would probably say that already I'm probably in the best shape at 32. I'm probably in the best shape that I have been in maybe since I was like probably 16 or 17 or something like that. I was a bit of a slob throughout my 20s. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. That's my 2021 kind of, what I'm looking forward to, how I'm going to do it, some of my goals. If you guys got some goals, some big goals, little goals, some, a 2021 vision, drop them down in the comments on YouTube here or on Twitter, wherever you are, and let me know what you're kind of aiming for this year. And maybe I might be able to give you some feedback or point you in the right direction of I don't know, how to get there or what I think you could use to get there. Because I would like to, start to generate that kind of conversation in the comments and, create like a bit of a positive space for us all to kind of learn off each other and, hopefully fucking be better people together. So that would be dope. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. Happy episode 12, signing off. What? Episode 9,944. How we get here? Kind of vibe is how I'm going to sign this off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. I've been your host, Savilian, and I will see you next week. Yeah.